name's Mikey and I'm the owner here at Leg Up Recovery. Welcome to episode 1 of our weekly Chili Chats, where we're going to be taking a deeper dive into recovery techniques, new and old ones, and kind of going over the science behind them and why they work. Today we're going to be talking all about ice. So as a former athlete, pretty much every athlete knows and has probably been told at one point in their life to throw some ice on something whenever they're sore, but why? The reason behind using ice, we even have an acronym for it, like the rest, ice, compression, elevate, to help with decreasing pain and swelling, which is hugely important when you're working out, because obviously if you have a lot of pain and swelling, you're not going to be able to perform your best. The issue I always had with ice was it was always really uncomfortable and it was always really time consuming. So when I was in sports, I would take an ice bath almost every single night for 30 minutes, which was hugely uncomfortable. I would sit in a tub full of ice water and basically freeze for those 30 minutes and be really uncomfortable. But now there's a better way to use ice and cold therapy to decrease pain and swelling. Back in the day we would use ice baths. Today we can use cryotherapy. So cryotherapy is basically exposing somebody to very cold air for 2 to 3 minutes as opposed to 30 minutes in an ice bath. The cryotherapy chambers get much colder than an ice bath. They get down to, the one that I have gets down to around negative 220 degrees. And this sounds like a really scary low temperature, but it's actually great because we protect you. We give you items of clothing to wear during your session. Basically you get a nice hat, gloves, socks, slippers, and a robe that you wear in there. So all of your extremities are very protected while you're still getting the great benefits that can be seen with cryotherapy. So the reason that people use cryotherapy, even NFL teams are going to this. I know in 2016, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers switched to doing whole body cryotherapy as opposed to ice baths, basically for time efficiency. But the reason that they do this is because when you're exposed to that cold of air, your body starts producing more anti-inflammatory compounds and less pro-inflammatory compounds. There's actually been clinical studies that have shown this, that people that use regular cryotherapy actually have an increased amount of anti-inflammatory compounds in their body and a decreased amount of pro-inflammatory compounds. Basically all that means is your body's going to have less inflammation, which in turn leads to less pain, which means you can be out there working out and doing what you love quicker. So not only is cryotherapy a safe and effective new way to use cold therapy to help you, it's also scientifically backed. So I guess the next question is, when will you try it? If you like hearing about recovery techniques that you can bring into your own workout routine, make sure to like and follow our page on all of our social media platforms. We will be posting weekly videos going over new and old techniques, kind of the science behind them, and if they work or not, if we suggest them or not. If you have a recovery technique that you'd like us to look into, feel free to shoot us a message, DM us, and we'll look into it for you. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in, and remember to stay chilly.